Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Open Metaverse Podcast, a series by Animoca brands whereby we explore the inner workings of the mind of a Web3 founder and how they're building out and how they intend to continue to future-proof their businesses, etc. My name is Raaf, and I am the Associate Director of the Investment and Strategic Partnerships team here at Animoca Brands. I always like to start off these podcasts with a fun fact about myself. And today's fun fact is I was recently diagnosed with financial PTSD. It turns out watching my portfolio die in real time is not necessarily healthy. Who knew? Today I'm joined, very luckily, by a lovely guest, Ricky Wong. Ricky is the co-founder and CFO of a firm called Pluto Studio, which is probably most famous for publishing a game called Catizen. Ricky, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Ralph.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here. It's the first time we're meeting, and so I really wanted to kind of break the ice, right? I wanted to get into it with an incredibly personal question. Given you guys are a cat-based token game ecosystem game center, I wanted to ask you, if you were an animal, which animal would you be?
Well, I have to say cats.
Okay, so you're a sociopath.
I have cats at home, but dogs also.
You also have dogs?
A dog person, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that?
Oh, I had dogs since I was like 3 years old or 2 years old, something like that.
Okay, gotcha.
I raised them for like 10, 20 years. Yeah.
And did you have cats growing up as well?
Yeah, right now. I think
my
cat right now is like 15, 16 years old.
Oh, wow.
So I have a long history with animals.
Okay. So why did you pick the cat over the dog then?
Because we publish Catizen.
No, you have one chicken and egg, right?
Yeah,
one follow the other.
Because our dogs died around age of 20. So now,
it's a long life.
Yeah, only have cats right now.
Okay, gotcha. I'm sorry to hear about the passing of your dog. And I'm happy to hear that cats and everything else associated with them in your life are very much living on. So I wanted to get a bit into your background, right? Like, where did you start? What was your professional journey, essentially, right? As I mentioned at the beginning, what we're really trying to do is understand the inner workings of a founder's mind, right? And from your perspective, you have built and pivoted. You have done so many different things with Catizen. But how did that start? Like, where did you start your journey professionally? What chain of events in your life then led to you actually jumping into Web3 as well?
So, well, there's like 2 decades ago, right? I should start from. So I started as a auditor, but my degree was in IT and also accounting. So I started as an auditor, but my passion is always in the IT field.
Gotcha.
So I think I was auditor for around 3 years in Deloitte, and then after that was financial controller and a CFO for a listed company. And then I was traveling between Beijing, Shanghai, Melbourne, Hong Kong. Yeah, keep traveling. And then I realized it's time for me to have my own firm. So I started a PE firm in Beijing and started doing a lot of investment in different fields.
Casually started a private equity firm.
That took me some time. So I think it took me 1 year for the fundraising, but after that it was good.
How much did you end up raising?
The first fund we raised is not big. I think that was around $7 million.
I would be surprised if it was big.
Yeah, and then we just build on the track on there and then keep launching different funds. So, and then that was started in Beijing.
Gotcha.
And then I had another firm in Hong Kong also doing a hedge fund. So I was in PE fund and hedge funds field for
private and
many
liquid.
years. Yeah. So, like, as you know, all the fund investors, they would look at the blockchain crypto stuff in 2017 and 18. So do we. So when we look at those investment, of course we invested in Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some other projects. But like as you might know, a lot of projects fell in those days. The only investment that was successful was Ethereum. So we invested in around $100. Yeah, something like that.
Nice.
And then, it kept rising.
So did I, but I only put in $100.
So that was the start of our journey in crypto. So throughout all this year, there was a lot of different attempts in investment in crypto, but that wasn't good because a lot of the cases we found that the founders, they were, I think in the beginning they don't want to be a scam, but at the end they were forced. They were tempted.
No choice.
Yeah, they just have to rock it, or they just have to get the money and run away. I think that's the more efficient for them.
It's the most efficient for everyone, but it's not the morally sound thing to do, right? I suppose this was still in the year 2017, 2018, right? It was the crypto cowboys, the ICO cowboys, basically, right? You had 150 firms that were trying to help companies ICO. They would rug them, everyone would rug each other. It was just like, it was a ridiculous time.
Yeah, that was crazy. So, and then we realized that if we are so passionate about crypto, Bitcoin, Ethereum, those stuff, we should probably do something ourselves because we can be sure that we are not going to rock.
Who is we?
So that's the co-founder called Tim. I was a friend with Tim for many years. We were colleagues, ex-colleagues in Deloitte. So we knew them for each other for 15, 16 years, 17 years.
18 years?
Yeah, 17, 18 years. So I think we start talking and then we say we should do something. So, but to do something in crypto, we are not like really high tech people. Although I love studying in IT, in coding, in everything. I do some coding myself also, but it wasn't a lot of edge over the other competitors. So we start to find partners, and then we met some other partners in the industry, in the game industry. So we found that minigame industry in China is a very huge market. I think the top 10 minigame publisher, I think they earn around 1 to 2 billion RMB dollars per game. So that was crazy. So for the top 50 minigame studios in China, they only need to have one superstar game. Then that is it, and then they can have a very decent living. And then we found that all these studios, they were all crowded in mainland China, in the WeChat ecosystem. But none of them was able to go offshore.
And bridge the gap between the Western and,
I think we were quite surprised because if any one of this game go offshore, I think it's a no-brainer for them to be successful because they have all the big data, they have perfected their in-game mechanism, and of course the graphics, UX, UI. I think it's all perfected because the money involved, the revenue involved was so huge. They can spend all the R&D to improve the games. So we start to talk to these game publishers, and then we find our partners, and then we also find some blockchain veterans, with a lot of experience in the blockchain field. So we get a team of 4 people, and then we started to think.
Sorry if I may interrupt. What were the backgrounds of each of these folks? And actually just dialing back, slightly rewinding. It's super interesting. I just want to know, from your perspective, what was it that really, what was the catalyst that like triggered you into, okay, because you said, I do want to start something of my own. I like the space. I believe in the space. But what was the catalyst? Like, what was it? Because, a lot of folks cannot take that step. You have been doing it for pretty private equity firm and the hedge fund. I don't like people like you. Too high achieving, man.
Well,
but
with small firms, small firms.
Okay, I have no firm, so
okay. I think the hardest part is always the 0 to 1.
Yeah.
0 to 1 is the hardest part. But if we have been through 0 to 1 so many times, it is quite comfortable for us because we have some capital. We are not worried about failure because we can always invest again and then start again.
And you're always doing it with that specific partner, right? So there's a trust built up, right?
Yeah. So after we find the game publishing partners, and then we find the blockchain partners who have been advising all the CEX back in those days, and then we come up with these ideas, come up with this conclusion that offshoring the minigame would be the perfect idea for the next coming years. So we have this theory, hypothesis. So we just make sure this is like can have a higher chance of success. So we talked to a lot of the VC investors in the crypto field. Not that we need the money, but
Product market fit.
Yeah, we want them to give us some input to see whether this is feasible.
Yeah.
This hypothesis is actually working. So after we talked to a couple of VC, and then they all were very excited about it. So we decided to find one ecosystem to partner with, because so this is an other theory. I think we seldom share this with other people, but when we were discussing, we were thinking, so what brings success to the Web2 companies? So how do the companies transit from the Web1 market to the Web2 market and get successful? So the simple answer is money, because those internet giants like Navigators, Microsoft, they just keep burning money, right? They just keep burning money so they can have a very good product, and then they can kill all the other software and get all the users there.
Yeah.
So it's a winner-take-all situation.
Yeah.
But the essential part is this internet giant, they are financing all this growth of these internet booms or bubbles anyway. So from Web2 to Web3, we were thinking, so who should we be talking to? Who else would like to burn the money again and acquire users? After, like, I think it's intuitive. It is the blockchains, because they're building an ecosystem.
Yeah.
They need users, because when more users go to the ecosystem, they have more gas fees and everything, right?
Of course, that's why they have ecosystem development funds, etc. Right?
Yeah. So
which one did you pick and why?
So we talked to so many blockchains.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and then finally we met the Ton people. Ton, the beauty of Ton is they are backed by Telegram.
Yeah.
They
are Telegram. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's like
you have
1 billion users.
Huge user base, exactly.
For us to just grab.
Exactly.
Like at literally low cost, or like 1 cent, something like that.
It's crazy.
So when we talk to the management of Ton, they said, yeah, come here. If you have like really good idea and product, come here, and then you can just acquire our users like at new cost at all. Because in those days, when we publish games on Facebook or WeChat, actually all the costs are going to Google, Facebook, and WeChat, because they have all your big data.
Of course, and they centralize everything, and they use it to fund.
If they know you're paying like $1,000, they are charging me like $800.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah.
So they will limit our ROI to like 10-20%. That is, they will not allow any developers to take the better part of the profit.
Which means you can then fund better games. It means you don't have to charge your end users so much more highly.
Yeah.
And that's why your retention rate is actually quite significant, actually, right?
Yeah.
You have a really solid retention rate. And what you were saying, your thesis that you had going on into Ton, cost of acquisition, not just cost of acquisition, that user base. You snatched it. You have like 55 million active users, 3.3 million on-chain users.
Yeah.
You have 1.2 million paying users. Those are crazy numbers, really crazy. So how do you manage it all? Because I know that it wasn't just here I am, this is Ton, boom, we've made it. Yeah, you did well, but I know there were some hiccups along the way. Maybe not even hiccups, but you had to pivot as well, and then you're on another chain as well now, right, Kaya?
Yeah.
So I'm just curious as to like what the thought was, what the journey was going down there, and how you made those decisions.
I would say, first of all, Ton and Telegram, they are really good partners to us, because when they saw our early success, they're putting all the resources to help us. They're asking all the KOLs.
You're making the money.
Yeah. but like in the same time, they have other projects as well, right?
Yeah, true.
They can just support the Western projects or the other projects in the invested solely by them.
True.
But then, because we are the only Chinese team back then with them, and they are still putting a lot of marketing resources for us. They are asking Lockpoint, asking all the KOLs to help us to bring users to us. And even last year, exactly this time in the Raafeh Festival, Andrew, like the top guy of Ton, he invited us to speak on the main stage of the Raafeh Festival. So
Fantastic.
He introduces us to everyone in the crypto world, saying, "Okay, we are the next superstar."
Made a statement.
Made a statement there. So it brought us a lot of growth. So I would say the early success we have to thank Tom for the enormous support. But after that, we know that the influence of the KOLs are very important because it's a very new ecosystem. The KOL, they in the past they haven't found a really profitable model or profitable project to work on. But when they see Catizen, we have a lot of revenue coming in and growing.
Yeah.
I think like around two months or 3 months after we launched, we already have close to 5 to 6 million users. So it was just the beginning.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. And then the people, the KOL, they are coming in and saying, "Oh, can we do something with you guys?" I said, "Of course." Like those might be some really new KOLs, but we don't mind. We just talk to all the KOLs, spend all the time, manage all the KOLs, and then we say, "Okay, if you think we are worth your time to work together, maybe we should do something different to incentivize you. You can invest in our tokens, and then you can, if you promote enough, you can get the referral bonus, and you can have a profit from our tokens." So we tie our profit together. So we have the same goal. We are on the same page. So every one of the KOL, they are like working really hard for us to promote the games. So I think with the success of Catizen, we actually made a couple new KOLs become really, really big KOLs.
Nice.
In regions like Korea, Japan, because in these regions, they didn't really spend a lot of marketing effort to go there because they didn't really know about those markets back then. But we say because we are Asians, at least we look like maybe we look like Korean and Japanese.
The Asian arbitrage.
So they were not going there. They asked, maybe it's not worth your time to go in there as well. But we say it's okay because we like to talk to everyone. So we just went there and then talked to all the KOLs, to those consulting firms, to see what we can get from them. So we grow a very closely engaged KOLs and communities there. So this is actually one of the very important ingredients for our success afterward, because when we publish Bombies and other games, these KOLs, they just say, "Oh, we are so prepared
immediately.
We want to be the first one to help you promote the game. So give us the narrative, give us the script, give us some beta version of the game." They will try out and then they will write some strategy. So these KOLs, they are so keen to work on every game that we publish, and they are actually the most important ingredients of our success, because we work with them when they just started, and now when they see us publishing a new game, they will also always be the first one to come.
That's fantastic. I mean, you've credited everybody except yourself, basically. You said Ton has done a very, very good job, and they're fundamental in your success. The KOLs are fundamental in your success. From the outside looking in, like, they're two very different skill sets that you have, like, from what you used to do, right? And sorry, we're just focusing on you now, right? Of course, everyone knows the KOLs and the network and the support. It matters. But from your perspective, and beyond the luck and the timing aspect, do you think, like, I don't know how to phrase this, but financial controller and auditor is very different from everything you just so passionately talked about, right?
Yeah.
So do you see any elements of your previous life that impact you now? I mean, the only thing I know is that you still have an annual report. You have an annual report on your website, that's very clear. As the CFO, you would do that. But beyond that, what are some of the skills that someone coming from like what they think is a completely different field, how can they apply some of those skills?
I think it's a very good question. No one has ever asked me before, but I think some of the very good question. Because as an auditor or as a CFO, financial controller back then, I think the most important part is not about the numbers, because numbers, a lot of the accountants or the or even the clerks or even the outside subcontracted accountants, they can help us with that. But I think the one very important element for a CFO is the internal control. And it is what a lot of the crypto projects doesn't have in their project.
Yeah, we've seen that many times.
This is why the people back in the ICO days can rock a lot.
Yeah.
They can fail in overnight because there's maybe some loophole. So we take all these experiences from the other failures, and then when we start our project, the first thing we are doing was the risk management. Actually, because when Catizen is doing the referral campaigns, we were worried about what if someone had our referral systems, so they can make maybe 1 million just by hacking our accounts or making some utilizing the loophole from our system. We never think our system is perfect, because for all of the system, there got to be some loophole. Just like it's a matter of time for people to find it out. So we have to set a lot of risk management measures. So this is where our previous expertise applies into. Yeah. So we set a compliance, because when we talk to the exchange, what they say, why do you have such a complicated structure? Because I was telling them, maybe you do not need it right now, but we can see the compliance is the future trend. Yeah. So we can set everything upfront accurately. Yeah. Then there will be like we will have a much more easier life in the future when we publish Bombi. So there will be a separate foundation. Pluto will still be the main publishing body, and we have segregate management team, segregate boss, and then we have internal approvals for different levels of marketing expenses. Yeah. All this stuff, I think it might not be valued maybe last year, but I think the CX start to appreciate what we have been doing.
Well, you're building a business. You're building an institutional business, right? That's what you're doing.
We are setting an example for all the other projects that want to get a huge success in no matter Tron ecosystem or Kai ecosystem or other ecosystem. So right now, a lot of projects, they are coming to us saying, oh, can you give us some advice on the infrastructure? We are so happy and pleased to share what we have found out to them. We just tell them you should do it this way, so that you may have a better legal opinion to accept it by not just by finance, by Bitcoin, but you can also be compliant to the US regulators like Coinbase, Kraken, or even the Korean exchanges, because they have different types of requirements on the compliance. So if we are doing this thing correctly, and then you can take your project to be listed on all over the world. So,
but even more deeply than that, if you have a set of risk management controls, you have a set of checks and balances, your community can trust you. Yeah. Your community can build. Yeah. Your community can trust each other. I mean, it's the counter opposite, the polar opposite of the ICO cowboys, the era, right? Yeah. Cowgirls.
You can even see we are disclosing all the balances of our wallets, so the people can be the auditor themselves, auditing our transactions. Yeah. So if someone find out something's wrong, they will report to us, because they will be the first one to complain, right?
Yeah, and it helps you.
Yeah, and then we can like save a lot of the effort finding out the errors or finding out the hackings.
Open source. Yeah, we rely on decentralize your everything basically.
Yeah, but I think the other points is the other expertise we can benefit from our previous career is the insights about people, or the insights about what the other parties need. Like when someone is doing a project, they may just, we just need say 10 million users and a lot of revenue. We can do a limited marketing expense to get it to that point. But I think that's not the case, because we have to understand what the CEX need these days, because they don't, if you are bringing a lot of the free-to-play users, they may not like this anymore. And if we are just keep bring them the same users again and again, they will not be happy about this.
Yeah,
so the CEX these days, they want new users, they want high DAUT. Yeah. So we have to find new way to get to this KPI. So this is what they need. And what the user needs, the user in the past, they just want, if I spend enough time on your game, I just want that amount of airdrop. Yeah. But this is not the users are doing anymore. If they are spending time, they might want to spend their time in some more quality games or with some social value, which they can like interact with their friends. They want some more from the previous version. So I think this is also a very important part from our investment life before. When we know the pain point or the need of these parties, then we can customize our products to fit them.
Thank you. This has been so interesting that I literally forgot that we have not told the audience what Catizen does. It's when you said airdrop that it clicked. I would say because you employed a new mechanism, and that was kind of your edge, right, in the market, and it was the innovation. It's actually your motto as well. Part of your motto. It's like it's not play to earn; it's play to airdrop.
Yeah.
And so I wonder. First off, can you describe Catizen for those that may not know it?
Yeah.
And second off, like you were saying, like what you learned in your previous years helped you set a foundation for the future, but it hasn't always been smooth, right?
Yeah.
So maybe what Catizen is, how did it start, and where you're going and where you want to go.
So I think it kind of related to your first question. So how do we start it? After we talk to all the blockchains, we find Ton, and then we have a lot of support from them, and then we want to find a game that is easiest for the Web2 users to understand, because our major mission back then was the mass adoption. Yeah. We want to onboard as many Web2 users as possible. So we have a pipeline of around, I think back then we have 60 games in the pipeline. So we have to find one game which is easy enough, but fun enough, but also can educate the users well enough for them to become our Web3 users. Yeah. So we picked Catizen first. And a lot of our games are designed with cat themes, so like it's okay. Even if we have cat here first, then that is also something related to cat. So cat is also always our first priority. So Catizen, we chose it as a first game because it was so educational and fun. Yeah. And we actually took the reference from some successful project before. I'm not sure whether you heard about VK Coins, VK.com, VK Coin. They had a VK Coin back then. And that was just a simple tapping game for some special mission. But they amassed a lot of the Russian and Ukrainian users to engage in the game, and they built a very big community out of nothing, because they only spent maybe 2 hours to develop the game, and then they suddenly got like millions of users joining, 17 million users joining the game. So we take reference from that, and then we add some little spice on that, and then there's Catizen. So it's a game, and after the endorsement by Pavel Durov of Telegram and by Andrew of Ton, a lot of Ukrainian and Russian players, they are joining. And when more players join, the Southeast Asian players, they also find it, maybe it's worth their time playing and getting the airdrop. So this just spread virally. And with our KOL communities, they were increasing like exponentially. I think in 9 months of time, from March to 6 months of time, from March to September, we were at 43 million users.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, exponentially, and then it's still growing. Like as you just mentioned, it reached 55 million users right now. So after Catizen, our TGE was in September last year. In around the same month, actually some weeks before the TGE of Catizen, we launched our second game, Bombi. So we think that, because we have to think about our next step. Yeah. We cannot just be a game, because a game, the lifespan of game is limited. Even though a game is so fun to play, its lifespan at max is like 2 years, something like that. If we want to like have a really sustainable ecosystem, we need to have some new assets coming, right?
100%, and it's really, I think, really key timing to launch it, like as you were TGEing, because your entire community is looking at you and being like, okay, they're not just cashing out, actually they want to build, right?
Yeah. So we tell them we want to build, and the second game is called Bombi, and we want to make sure it's a superstar game as well. So we have an app center there. So right now our app center, we have like around 30 mini apps. I said mini apps because we just have games, a lot of games maybe 28 games, and some mini apps, some trading bots, because we want our users to have different experience in our ecosystem. They can watch a short video drama, like it's not launched yet, but it will be available very soon, and they can trade stuff, trade Bitcoins or options, or trade other major coins options.
Bitcoin options?
Yeah.
Oh.
The people can spend $20 to own a Bitcoin for 10 minutes. Yeah, that's the idea of one of our mini apps. So we are finding all these really fantastic mini apps and mini games and to publish them. And as I always share on the other panels or speech, we welcome all the game studios from other ecosystems or from all over the world to join us, because even for us, we find our game studios, we publish their games, they are outside partners. And if you are like a standalone developers, you can still come to us, and if your game is good enough, we can publish your games for sure, because like you're just like everyone else, like everyone of our partners. And if you join our ecosystem, it will not just be on Telegram, because our presence in Kaya is very dominant right now. We are the number one publisher on Kaya.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about that, like, because you were mentioning Tone the entire time, and now you've brought up Kaya. So what was the move there?
Yeah. So actually we planned it ahead. When we were doing our Catizen TG, we launched Bombi to show the users that we are building something next, right? Yeah. We are building an app center. So Catizen is just one of the game. And then Catizen App Center, we can publish a lot of games. It will become an open ecosystem for the other game studios to join. And then, so this is our first expansion narrative. And then when it comes to this point, and when Bombi is about to have a TGE, we want to let the CEX, not just the user, but the CEX, to know that we are not only focusing on the same user base, always. We are focusing on utilizing the current success of one user base in Telegram, and we will use this success to duplicate our success, to export our success to other ecosystems. So Kaya is the first showcase about what we are capable of, because our first hypothesis is, if a minigame can be successful inside the WeChat ecosystem, it is highly likely to be successful in a Telegram community, and of course the rest of the world. So it is the first showcase, and then we publish them on Kaya. It showed the world that our games are actually that good. We just published there, and then it just became number one.
How is Bombi doing, like in comparison to Catizen?
I think they have very similar successful track record. Bombi right now we have around 40 million users and $20 million revenue, and we just launched Bombi.
Like, that's huge, man. It's crazy.
It's almost like Catizen, but the difference is because after we have Catizen TGE, if we just bring the same user base to the CX again, the CX may just think we are a mediocre project, not a top project.
Yeah.
So we have to do something else. We have to do like to develop a totally different communities.
Yeah.
So we are focusing on quite a lot on Japan, Taiwan, Thailand, and Korea, which is also where Line is primarily based on.
But can I ask then, why are you focusing on the CEXs? There's an avenue there, I know, but why? Yeah.
So, again, success, I think the first factor depends on its quality, on its in-game mechanism, but it is always enhanced by the TGE prospect. When there's a TGE prospect, more players will join, and then they will refer more users to come to join, because they're
mining your assets as well.
Yeah. So if it is fun, and if there's a TGE prospect, that is the two very essential elements for a game to have like such a level of user growth and revenue. And that's why we always have to study or understand what KPIs these CEX are having, and in different periods.
Yeah.
So if we understand well, and we can choose our marketing strategy a little bit toward that directions to fulfill their KPIs. So it's a win-win situation. If the CEX are happy, they will also be airdropping to our users. So as you mentioned in the beginning, like the Catizen users, they pay for airdrop, not just the airdrop from Catizen. They will receive airdrop from all the different projects, including the CEX, because when they want to acquire users, they will airdrop their exchange tokens. When projects they are about to have TGE, they will airdrop to our users using their TGE tokens, right?
Yeah.
So this is how we sustain and grow our ecosystem.
Ricky, this might not be proper, but can you give us the top 3 secrets to being successful as a player on Catizen?
Yeah, it's not that proper, but I think I can think of something. I think a lot of users in the communities, they are asking the same question. So how do they get more airdrop? How do they not get banned from our airdrop? So I think we haven't really shared that before, but because we have an anti-cyber mechanism, so we anti-cybers, like
anti-sniper.
Yeah. So we will be banning a lot of the bot users.
Yeah.
So when we identify a bot users, no matter how much time they are spending on the game, they will just get nothing. And what identify you as a bot users? So I cannot give you the full details, but as you might know, bot users, they will be just doing recurring tasks again and again.
Yeah.
They will not do any
they're hammering.
They will not do any specific tasks like interacting with our accounts, interacting with our external Twitter channels, Telegram channels, because this is like very manual stuff. So I think this is one of the big secret. How do we distinguish the bots from the normal users? So try to be a normal users. Try not to use a bot because it will just be a waste of your electricity and internet fees. And the second thing is get good in the game, because getting good in the game, it like either you have like super good skills, you can read the tactics,
spend as much time as possible basically in the game.
But if you're not that good and you cannot get good, you don't have enough time, you can just like pay in the game.
Pay to win.
Just like the other game, right?
Yeah.
If we are not like Elden Ring, you do not like have to have superb skills.
Sorry, just to summarize, your 2 secrets are be a human being and spend as much time possible in the game. That makes sense. That's basically like every other.
Money.
Because
like if
did we work out the referral or that I get or?
Yeah. I'll let me know your account, and then I will check whether you are bot or not.
Yeah, I don't think I come across as a bot. I'm way too hyper. Right. Before we wrap up, I wanted to ask: is there anything that you wanted to share? I mean, for example, your partner channel. Like how does one become successful not just as a user but also as a partner? And if there's anything else that you wanted to say on the back of that, just before we close out.
Yeah, I think one thing very important is that we want to empower our tokens and also as our communities. So when a game come to us, the first thing we ask is whether you're willing to contribute to our communities. I think this is very the very first deal breaker for a partnership, because if you are not willing to reward to our communities, then that is probably not much incentive for us to publish your game here. So, but like, if you're willing to reward our communities, our community will also reward you, because our community are really huge and they are like real gamers. If your game is coming to be published in our ecosystem, and if they get some of your coins and start to play your game, and if your game is good enough, they will just recharge a lot, as much money as like they do in Catizen or Bombi. So I think this is not something that you are sacrificing. You are just investing in a whole new user base, a new community, which is consisting of a lot of real gamers here, and they are willing to pay if the game is good enough. So the first thing for our partnership is try to be more generous to our community. We are not asking a lot, but if you are about to have a TGE, maybe
airdrop,
several percent to airdrop to our communities may bring you extra, like 500,000 users, something like that. That is like you cannot find it anywhere else. So this is the first thing. The second thing is
play for airdrop, heal the world.
Yeah, a lot of the projects, I think they just tend to work with the best KOLs. But these best KOLs, they have a lot of different projects to promote at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would say, do not underestimate the new KOLs, because it is a really competitive market.
Yeah.
You will never know which KOL will go to and become a very big KOL, like in next week or next month.
Yeah. But you support those who are trying to become KOL. It seems to be like, I mean, Animoca is the same way, but it seems to be very much your ethos. It's like, pull people up with you.
Yeah.
You don't have to go and get, pay someone $1 million.
Yeah. Growing together, I think, is always the best marketing effort here.
In this nascent industry, it's the only way to do it. It's the only way, which is exactly what you're saying. When you come onto the platform, you have to treat the community well, and the community will treat you back well.
Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense.
That's our primary mission.
Yeah, I think anybody that stood the test of time is definitely has that mission with them as well. We just want to pull people up, and because we pull people up, people help us, and it's a very, very positive feedback loop.
Yeah.
And that is the industry that we're in, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah. Thank you.
Ricky, I really appreciate you coming.
Appreciate your time. I did the whole interview and your questions.
I'm sorry?
Really, really insightful questions.
No, it was insightful answers. I was just spewing. No, but I appreciate that, and we really appreciate you having here. And I was gonna say good luck, but you don't need it.
Well, still need it in this volatile market.
Yeah. Everyone does need it, actually. Good point. But yeah, you heard Ricky. If you're a project, if you're a KOL, if you're a developer, whomever, go check them out. Do you have your phone number or something? You can. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, but I think we will have our X channels, Telegram channels here, and my personal X accounts shared by you guys later, right? So follow us.
Yeah. Okay, great. You know what? Put my X account there too, because I have 60 followers literally on the dot. Anyway, cheers, Ricky. Thank you.
Cheers, man.